Hi y'all. It's your episode chaotic. Okay, so in this video, I wanted to read part of one of the chapters of my book, The Pick Me Awareness Hotline Rehab Recovery Center by the Goddess Universe. Okay, so the name of this chapter is called The Streets. And I wrote my book in a particular way because I don't want to just outrightly offend anyone, number one. Number two, a lot of scientists have said a lot of these things and have tried to say it in an appropriate way so they would not come off as, potentially racist or, things of that nature. But, yeah, I have no qualms about it. But, anyway, in my book, I wrote a lot of the things coded and in a particular way. Like, for instance, I kept referring to some men because oftentimes men say it's not all men, it's just some. So, for the likes of those that may sneak and read it, that is not necessarily meant for, I put some men in most instances just because I do not want to hear that backlash. So I put some men. So if you're in tune, you'll understand why this book is written the way it's written. Okay, but anyway, so let me go ahead and start reading The Streets. The Streets. The Streets is the name I am giving to a heightened form of the Pick-me-land/Dustville mentality that raises the dusty and pick-me. So Pick-me-land is where every woman is before she becomes aware. So when you're in Pick-me-land, you are potentially a male-identified woman. You are potentially suffering from low self-esteem. You are potentially just unaware. Even if you want to be aware, people that are near you probably aren't aware themselves. So it's just like an endless pattern of degeneracy. So anyway, and Dustville is where men are. And some of them never escape. And some of them marry several times using several women. So you have to be careful even when you're dating older ladies, okay? Because some are just forever in Dustville. Okay? So anyway, The Streets is the name I am giving to a heightened form of the Pick-me-land/Dustville mentality that raises the dusty and pick-me. Not to be confused with outside like the Beehive or the Hotties, nor the city girls outside that we love. No. The streets I'm referring to is more dubious, counter to civilized culture, streets swallowing people's children and lineage all up whole. Sane people pray to escape the streets, whereas the citizen of the streets that thrive can be thought of as the most degenerate ones. There is a reason why street legends like Nipsey Hussle that free themselves mentally and economically often do not make it long. Once you make it in some way, you become the target of the streets in one shape, form, or another. It would be nice to have the desire to help your community if it was not rampant with alternate leaders that push degenerate mentality that is conditioned into the future generations of those people. Ideally, the real men that know how to create a community can begin rising, but those degenerate men use force and manipulation to keep their citizens locked into their system. Basically, the men fear each other because they are using each other to climb each other's backs. So what's left for the woman to do? What can she do? So she then has to become a little bit more masculine just to survive. Also, the streets is very illiterate, so do not think anyone will get clarity when you are having disagreements or discussions. Likely, any discord will end in death. The streets is not where you can raise your children comfortably, as you will always be in a state of survival. I'll stop it there. It goes on, but I'll stop it there. So, just be careful, ladies, because you may be reasonable, you may have done the work, but if you're still living in a certain community filled with certain degeneracy and things of that nature, You know, you can't control other people's degeneracy. So my best advice would be to avoid it, behave scared when it approaches you, and yeah, just try to me if it look if it's walking this way, I'm going that way. If it's fastly approaching me, I'm running. If it's coming smacking my face and I did not solicit anyone to come to my face, no, I'm behaving scared. I'm ducking and I'm dodging. Because do you see anyone else doing that? Would you do that to another woman in another community? Would you just walk up willy nilly? No, most likely the degenerates will not. And if they did, those women will probably do the same thing. And it's high time that women in a particular community, especially those that resemble me and better and a deeper complexion in most cases, it's time to start behaving how you actually feel. If you are scared, act scared. If you're feeling scared, act scared. Because this mentality of, yeah, I'm going to be bigger and tougher, no, that is done for. If you're scared, act scared. That's what other women in other communities do. And they don't expect for random men to just start approaching them aggressively. Not in their communities. If a random man approaches them, it's to assist them with something, not to be all talk and not assist a woman with something and expect her to just welcome you open arms. No, we are not in that community. We are not in that time anymore. So do not walk up willy nilly to any woman. Don't do that. And women, if men come up to you willy nilly, that again, as you see time and time again, has led to certain women being hurt. So me, if someone's walking towards you and you know they don't have any reason to be walking towards you and you don't want to be approached, walk the other way, behave scared, get the attention of someone else that could assist you if need be. And it's unfortunate, but in most situations, it might be called for, especially if you're living in a particular community. Okay? And I want the message to get out there so that maybe it starts to change, even if it's just a little bit. And maybe, ladies, it's a lot more of us out there by a little bit. Maybe we can get some laws changed that people just can't unsolicitedly or whatever. I don't care if these words aren't words or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Well, maybe we can get laws, enacted or passed or at least started that will protect women from just being approached by degenerate type of men because they have nothing, number one, to provide you. So they're just coming to bother you. And if you don't, allow them to talk to you and feel that entitlement, they get upset. In order to avoid all of that, let's put laws in place, man, so that our young ladies, ourselves, the older women, aren't just approached. And if we're just approached, and if we say no, thank you, or try to somehow, some way get ourselves out of that situation, we won't potentially be attacked. Like, let's stop pretending like these things aren't happening, because it's not until it happens to you or your loved ones. And it's those degenerate type of, let's say, men that are hetero men that do these things. If it happens to their loved ones, they won't like it, but yet they may be the same ones inflicting this. So let's not expect the people that are potentially inflicting this to do something about it. And then the ones that are afraid to do something about it because they already know the type of degeneracy that is within the community. So now you have to really try to protect yourself, ladies. Period. Let me get off my soapbox. I think I've said what I had to say. Go purchase my book. Email me. Follow me on Twitter. GU_Park PAHRRC on Twitter. You check out my website, the-goddessuniverse.com. And yeah, leave a comment. Let me know that you stopped by. Let me know if you have any topic suggestions. And yeah, thank you for joining me, guys. Bye.